All right, good morning, everyone. This is Mike Dutter with the National Weather Service. And let's go ahead and get started with our latest briefing for this now ending winter storm that has moved through the area. So let's first start with the latest radar imagery from out of Dover. And you can see the heaviest bands of snow have now exited to the north and offshore. There are still some snow for those that are on the Maryland Eastern Shore. Some snow still Salisbury and Ocean City, definitely reducing the visibilities. In fact, the visibilities right now at up there are about a mile, a mile to a mile and a half, a little higher as you get towards Cambridge. So, maybe up to an inch, half inch to maybe locally an inch of additional snowfall through early this afternoon. However, the good news is that the temperatures are above freezing at this point, so or close to or just above freezing. So, and with the even though it's still cloudy, it's still daylight. So, additional accumulation should be pretty minor. The main problem for today and currently right now is simply the fact that it's still quite breezy across the area with that strong low pressure to the north. And with gusts to 30, 35, even some 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported across the eastern shore, up in Maryland, and really across the entire area close to the Chesapeake Bay, but particularly with all the snow that was received across the Maryland Eastern Shore, Delmarva, that's really the main concern for at least through today. Travel will still be quite difficult, to say the least. So let's go ahead and get on to our briefing. I just wanted to first give you some, and this is a little bit of clutter, but you get the idea of where the heaviest snow did occur, with more than a foot or more locally, especially into close to Ocean City, into Salisbury. Heavier snow as you got into Delaware, but a widespread 7 or 8 to 12 inches of snow across the lower Maryland Eastern Shore counties, and even 11 inches into northern Accomack County as well. But notice how it quickly tapered off to 3 to 5 inches once you got into Northampton County on the Eastern Shore, as well as the northern neck, and generally 1 to 2 inches across the middle peninsula into the peninsula, north side of Richmond, and then really just a trace or an inch or less south of there. And so you can see a very, very tight gradient from the heaviest snow across the north east to much lighter as you got closer to 64. So the good news is that the storm is pulling out, and again, other than some lingering snow showers, for the next few hours, especially across the eastern shore, the system will be moving out. There will be high pressure building in. It will be warming up, and in fact, maybe into the upper 40s or the 50s by Wednesday. And then the return to more showers. And again, this at this time looks to be all rain. This next system on Thursday looks to be all rain. And then again, but fairly, at least warmer than it has been, closer to normal or maybe even a slightly above normal through the week after today, and then drying out again on Friday. There is a continued winter weather advisory, and we just took this down for the Virginia counties here, at least the west of the Bay. However, there is still a winter weather advisory in effect through 1 p.m. across the eastern shore counties. Again, mainly for not a lot of falling snow, but mainly for that continued blowing and drifting of snow. And those winds really should continue right through the day. Again, the snow should end by early this afternoon, falling snow, but these gusty winds will continue through the day. The other issue for tonight is that whatever does melt this afternoon, and with the roadways, it will likely refreeze again tonight, especially untreated roads. We actually had considerable amount of black ice this morning across parts of central and southeast Virginia, and we are expecting that potentially again tonight, with temperatures even colder, dropping back into the 20s in most areas. In fact, some lower 20s in a few spots as well. Again, that as it clears out overnight. So again, those untreated surfaces could be a little slippery tomorrow. And again, talking about those breezy conditions today, really expecting wind gusts mostly at least 30 miles an hour across the area today. Some higher wind gusts again have been seen and are expected across the eastern shore, maybe up to 40 miles per hour as well through this afternoon. But those will be diminishing tonight, especially after dark. So again, the idea for the rest of the week is that another cooler day tomorrow, but starting to warm up. And then especially by Wednesday and into the remainder of the week, temperatures at or even above normal once we get past Tuesday, with temperatures in the 50s, maybe even some lower 60s on Thursday. Cooling back a little bit on Friday and Saturday behind that system. But again, those are still temperatures at normal. So again, we're looking at a little bit more closer to normal temperatures. And once we get through Tuesday morning, temperatures at night will struggle really, especially after Wednesday, will struggle to drop below freezing. In fact, most temperatures we have forecast are in the upper 30s into the 40s for the end of the week, into the weekend. And you can see this next system, again, dry through Thursday. And again, the system bringing some rain and later Thursday into Thursday night and perhaps into Friday morning as well. So with this system moving off, there is still some threat for tidal flooding over the next couple tide cycles. There's just a lot of water that's with all that wind that is sloshing around, and so these areas in minor or in this orange color here, the lower bay into the Atlantic coast, maybe even up into the upper reaches of the Chesapeake Bay later tonight into tomorrow, may see some minor flooding. Again, just some nuisance flooding with locally up to a foot of inundation in those vulnerable locations. And in fact, here's that coastal flood advisory that we do have in effect for right now. It's through today, but we may have to extend that into tomorrow. Again, just some nuisance flooding is possible. And here are the tidal individual forecasts for a few spots. This is the lower bay. Again, places, especially Little Creek, Lynn Haven, and Kiptopeak will be just touching minor flooding over the next few high tide cycles. With again that foot of inundation. Here's the ocean. Ocean City got to 4.42 overnight. We're expecting it to get close to 4.2, maybe closer to 4 feet, but that's still minor coastal flooding in Atlantic or Ocean City. Chincoteague, again, touching minor flooding, as well as further south to Duck, into that minor flood stage. And as for our marine customers, we have a gale warning in effect right now for all the waters. The winds will be coming down, especially in the rivers this afternoon and everywhere by later this afternoon overnight. Some gusts of 40 knots are possible, especially over the Chesapeake Bay and the coastal waters, and with those seas over the ocean are still quite large, 7 to 14 feet, but they will be gradually coming down. In our marine probabilities, the storm force conditions are basically ended for the area. The low probabilities are rapidly lowering, and this doesn't really capture that. But there still are gale conditions expected for the next few hours at least, and small craft conditions will continue right through tonight into perhaps into tomorrow. And here is our maximum wind gust forecast, really focusing on this morning into early this afternoon, diminishing tonight, and especially tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, and then increasing again ahead of that next system. Perhaps another round of small craft advisories are possible on Wednesday and as well as on Thursday as well. And just a little more extended view of the forecast for the next for the next week over our marine area. Again, these elevated winds on Thursday out of the south, but once we get through that, looks like the winds could diminish for the weekend as high pressure builds in, and 10 knots or less across the area. And our winds, our seas forecast here, 5 to 7 feet in the bay, continuum. Again, that's mainly for today. 7 to 10 feet or more across the open water. However, again, those are all mainly today. It will be gradually subsiding tonight into tomorrow. Maybe building again on Wednesday, again with that increased south to southwest wind. But the highest waves will definitely, largest waves will definitely be today. Just another look at our wave height as well as our possible occasional wave height. Could be up to 15 to 19 feet across the northern waters this morning. But again, those are coming down as well as that low departs. So that's all I have. I'll be happy to entertain any questions. Otherwise, everyone have a great day and be careful out there if you're in those areas with a lot of snow.